TikTok is honestly where all the weird and creepy internet characters live now. Like 5 to 7 years ago, it used to be YouTube, but now they all just seem to find a way to pop up on TikTok. There just seems to be more like weird stuff happening over on TikTok than YouTube these days, and I'm fascinated by all of it. Today, I'm looking at a TikToker named Annie. Her @ is Whitmab, WTMAB. I don't know if it's supposed to sell something. I'm not very good at reading. She has over 727,000 followers, so she's not like a micro creator or anything like that. Like, I feel like I keep up with internet trends, like, but then someone can just have like 1 million followers on TikTok, and I just have no idea who they are. So a little backstory on Annie. She's pretty much seems like the run-of-the-mill, like, photogenic teenage girl who blew up on TikTok overnight because all of her friends in her school watched her, and now she's coming up on close to 1 million followers. Somewhere along the line, like in the middle of when she started posting, she got like this scratch or scar on her face. Or did she? We don't actually know. We'll get into it. Now, I don't want to bully this girl because she seems nice enough. Like, nothing she's done is like outright offensive, you know, and I can get how if she has a scar on her face, that can be like a big insecurity without the entire internet coming after you, especially a schmuck like me. So I'm in no way here trying to like make fun of her for having a scar on her face. But I can't help but point out the circumstances surrounding this are a little peculiar, okay? Having clout on the internet is kind of like having, you know, close to 1 million little FBI agents tracking your every move, just waiting for you to slip up. And so naturally, people started to notice that this scar on Annie's face was suspiciously changing shape and size and direction and length over time, and it was just taking a lot longer to heal than like any scar anyone has ever had, right? It seems odd, but at the same point, I will point out that her account definitely started to blow up right around the time of the first video she posted with the scratch on her face. I know this because I scrolled all the way back to March 18th, 2021, the first video where she has a scar on her face, which is almost 3 years ago at this point, which is nuts. Like, this is what her views look like before posting that video on March 18th, and this is what it looks like afterwards. I tried to get a feel for what the comments were like on this video at the time she posted it, but after scrolling for a while, I just realized that all the comments were from recently, with people with the same idea as me trying to figure out what the heck happened, because there's like no backstory. It's just all of a sudden one day she posted with a scratch on her face, and I've been saying scar, it really does look like a scratch. It looks like if your cat scratched you or something, you know what I mean? In the next couple of videos after that one blows up, you can see the scar on her face becoming like more center frame. People are intrigued by it, like all her comments are about it. But in the next couple of videos after that, it seems to get fuller, deeper, and almost more prominent. I don't know how to explain it. Here, I'll throw up some videos so you can see the difference. So you can see it just keeps going like back and forth, and these videos are posted after one another. Now, I get it's possible that she could have like filmed these out of sequence and just had them in drafts and released them. That's a very normal thing that people on TikTok do. Or you know how like when you have a scratch and then it starts to scab over, it almost looks a little bit worse than the initial scratch. Like, there are explanations to this that aren't immediately just going to the worst possible case of her, but like, it's still kind of weird. You would think in your head, you get a scratch, maybe a week or two later, it starts to heal over. Bada bing, bada boom, everything's back to normal. She could have filmed the first video she posted more recently, and those are from like 2 weeks ago. We don't know. That's what I'm saying. Just to be charitable, we don't know how these were filmed. Anything is possible at this point. Like, there's nothing out of the ordinary about this healing pattern if these videos are just filmed out of order. So I decided to just keep scrolling and going through her account just to see like the natural progression, what happened, and try and figure this thing out. I get to December of 2021, which is 9 months later than the initial video. And this is why I started to get confused, because as you can see, the scar on her face starts to get a lot darker and deeper. It almost looks like a completely different scar. I guess it's possible that she took these videos like 10 months ago, and this is like the day she actually got the scar, and she just decided to hold them in drafts for 9 months and then post them now. I guess it's possible. Seems unlikely to me. I don't know. I'm not a detective. I wasn't there. At this point, I'm starting to think that she has the Benjamin Button disease only on this direct spot on her face. Like, from this to this just looks like two completely different marks, just in similar spots on her face. So either she is milking this scar that blew up her account because everyone seems to be interested in it, which is driving engagement, or Her cat is an absolute sniper and for 9 consecutive months has been scratching her directly in the exact same spot on her face. As I kept scrolling through her page, the progression of this scar just makes absolutely no sense. I don't get it at all anymore at this point. Like, this is November of 2021 and this was posted almost a month later in December, and you can see it just looks like 2 completely different scars now. Like, over time it's getting longer. It's like got a curve down at the bottom now. It goes almost to her jawbone when it was just around her cheek at first. Like, I don't get it. Like, people are starting to get really confused at this point, like I am, because, you know, scars, you have them and they go away after a couple weeks. You get it, right? But they don't, over the course of 9 months, not only stay and not heal, but get actively worse. And then in July, she pops out with whatever the heck this is, because it sure ain't the scar that she had at the beginning of all this. Like, she went from this to this in a little over a year, which is honestly starting to make me to believe in the theory that her cat actually is an assassin who's just playing the long game. Obviously, anyone with eyes is confused because what the fuck? Initially, it looked like she had got a scratch across her face. Like I said before, it honestly looks like she got scratched by a cat or a dog pet, something like that. Just looks like a scratch. Maybe she got into a little bit of a fight at school. Someone scratched her. That's the level we're talking about here. Now, it looks like something someone would get in a CW show to prove that they've been into a fight, but you still want to make sure they look hot because ugly people are gross. Like, I've seen people compare it to an eyebrow stamp, and admittedly, I have no idea what that is. But it sounds good to me, and that person seemed like they know what they were talking about, so who knows? All I know is this thing looks faker than a $3 bill now. Like, it's super uniform, almost perfect. It's gotten really dark, like this weird dark burgundy color. I don't even know what color that is. And it just looks fake. So now we're about 2 years into this scandal. Like, is this a scandal? I don't know. It's blowing up on TikTok, like millions of views every video. It's crazy. It made its way to me, and I'm so far out of the loop for stuff like this. I don't know. So it has to be making it big time. After the most recent iteration of the scar drop, a lot more people started to get confused, started to look into it, started to make videos about it. There became this like fascination with proving that Annie was faking this scar, which I understand. It is very peculiar. Like, there's just something off about it and you can't quite put your finger on it. So naturally, people are going to want to look around, look deeper into it to try and figure out the truth for themselves. But this did lead Annie to finally addressing the scar after 2 years. And I'm sure a lot of the attention she is getting for this is negative because it's the internet and people are terrible. Like this video she posted claiming people are threatening to give her an actual scar, which is just not cool. And then in her next video she posted after that, she gives a really compelling argument as to why the scar is real.
Hey guys, so I keep seeing these comments about how scars don't turn brown, but I just want to point out that every scar on my body is in fact brown. I got stepped on at shortstop like 4 years ago, and I have like cleat indents that are still brown. I don't know. I have friends that scars also turn brown, like after an injury. So I don't really know how you guys can sit here and tell me about my body and how my body heals, because you're wrong. That's it. Like, you're just wrong.
That's right. All her scars actually turn brown, like the one that's on her arm and not visible at all. Oh, and also, you're wrong. Then she posts a couple of videos proving the haters wrong by wiping her scar behind her hair so you can't actually see if she's wiping it or not, and then washing her face out of frame. But when she comes back, the scar just looks completely different for some reason, which at this point, I don't even care if the scar is fake or not. It definitely is, by the way. But if you're trying to prove it's real, this is genuinely the worst possible way to do it. My theory on this whole thing is that she initially did have like a scratch on her face, right? But then she saw how much it was driving engagement to her account and she wanted to milk that, you know, do a little trolling because she liked having the attention. As the great American philosopher put it, they do anything for clout. But clout chasing, while cringe, is not a crime. Yet, because I haven't been elected president. And then as I was wrapping up this video because it seemed like no new parts were going to be dropping anytime soon, Annie released a TikTok with the longest caption I've ever seen, explaining the whole thing basically. It says, "Hey guys, originally in March of 2020, when I was injured and realized that this would be a permanent mark on my face forever, I was embarrassed. I was so upset that I thought my face was ruined, as insecure as I was already at 15 navigating high school. I felt like the opportunity to look at myself in the mirror and smile was taken away from me because of a cruel situation. It was until one one day that I realized that covering my scar and openly hating it was a disservice to those close to me and myself suffering from insecurities. While I decided not to cover it for those reasons, I never fully went away and neither did my insecurities, because when I looked in the mirror, I saw the reason behind why it was there. Unfortunately, I had a poor reaction to the first topical I tried in an attempt to fade it. I was sloppy applying it as well, and it led to longer injury. I was in a dark place knowing that it was now even worse. I had to wait till that fully healed to start the second treatment, which I began in August. Since then, this treatment has been super invasive, and I cannot emphasize the pain directed around the injury. It's at a point where it genuinely does look gross. It has risen and scabbed over. I also did not think about how Tanner would get into the scabbed area when I did it. It should get better with time, but unfortunately all my scars do still heal brown. While I don't think it's right that people mindlessly comment hate for whatever reason it is, I do make a decision to put myself out on the internet. My account was made to show those out there they're more than their scars. Not to have a comment section showing those same people they should hate themselves because of all their scars. I'll never stop using my platform for DV awareness and body positivity. I hope this video is what y'all need to move on or at least understand. No one should make a comment on someone's scars, especially not knowing the history behind the scars or the person in the screen. If anyone ever needs to talk, my DMs are open. I would love to listen to your stories and hype y'all up. I promise I hear you and I see you. Thank you, and I hope y'all will move with grace in the future. Now, the comments on this video still seem pretty split. I don't know if this is the end of this whole ordeal, but she has addressed it, and to me it seems fairly reasonable, you know? She had an initial scar, tried to fix it with some sort of topical cream that made it worse. She got even more insecure and tried to cover it up and lie about it, because at this point she would have been like a teenage girl getting bombarded from every direction on the internet, which doesn't seem like fun. So I get it. Probably anyone in this situation would have handled it poorly, but in the end, she really didn't do anything malicious. Just a little white lie to try and like get people off her back. But as we know, that just makes people want to find the truth even more. Like even some huge creators with like tens of millions of followers were talking about this. So I can see how she would be like defensive almost, you know? But at this point, battle lines have pretty much been drawn and people will spend the rest of their lives, you know, defending or fighting for whichever side they chose 2 years ago. I don't know, man. Her explanation seems pretty reasonable to me, but what do you guys think? Because I could honestly be convinced of anything at this point. Nothing makes sense. It seems like everyone at some point has lied about something, so I just don't even know what to believe anymore. Like this whole thing could be a plot to cover up that her cat is in fact evil. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got on this situation. I guess at this point, her explanation does really put an end to it. I fell down a rabbit hole, and while I was discovering all this stuff, it kind of got wrapped up, but I still wanted to share it with you guys because I did find it interesting and fun. These are like niche internet dramas that come across my page. I enjoy all of them. So I just wanted to share this one with you guys because I thought it was fun. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day. Okay, bye.